Today we talking kicks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Thoughts for the Soul podcast. Um, Grateful to have you here. Happy New Year. I've been off the grid a little bit, and just the beautiful duality of life. Like, had some things, some major things happen in life, and it's not uncommon to anyone. They could have happened to anyone, but just had to go, dig deep, go inside, and just figure some stuff out. I didn't even set any goals to start this year. I'm more interested in systems, like having systems in place that, regardless of how I feel, if I'm motivated, unmotivated, if I'm sad, mad, whatever, the systems would help me to accomplish the things that I set out to accomplish this year. So the main thing for me this year is attack. Like that's one of the words that just came to me at the end of last year. Like attack. Like attack this year, this upcoming year, like no year before. And me, I'm mostly like sit up, watch, do the work, see how the play may turn out, and go from there. But this year I said, nah, I gotta do what I gotta do in order to get to where I wanna be. And it's not being overly aggressive and doing things that may not make sense. It's gonna still be within the field of what I typically do. But just having systems to get to where I wanna be. And they've already began to pay off a little bit. But like I said, I didn't come into this year with just any clear cut goals. It's just defining routines and systems in order to make this year as much of a success and as progressive as it can be. Still praying for those in LA and surrounding areas that have been affected and are still being affected by these fires. Insane. I mean, well, it's fires every year, but to begin the year like this, I know it wasn't on anybody's list or radar or anything like that. So, still praying for those in LA, still praying for those in New Orleans. Like, golly, man, it's just we living in a lot of craziness, and it's been that way for a while now. But you know, it's just it's just stuff that we got to deal with. I'm hoping that this new presidency doesn't get too crazy, too wild. I already seen some things in the news, and it's just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. But not gonna get too deep into any of that. Thoughts and prayers, love and healing, condolences to those that, like I said, have been affected by what's going on in LA right now and what happened in New Orleans to start the year off. Like I said, Happy New Year again. I hope that it started off better than mine. And if it didn't, we have so much more time to have the year that we want to have. So, there's hope in that. But let's get to the kicks, man. So this year I'm both happy and I am a bit nervous, a bit anxious. There are so many pairs of shoes dropping this year, and all of them have not even been leaked. All of them have not even come into fruition yet. And so I'm just going off of what we do know or what we think we know, what we kind of know. Yo, it's a lot of shoes coming out this year. And I'm not. This is not news. It's just kind of crazy to me. And maybe it's not so much of there's a lot of shoes coming out this year. Maybe the real thing is there are a lot of shoes that are coming out this year that I truly desire. Now, I want a lot of shoes every year, right? But but this year these shoes, there are a lot more shoes releasing this year that hold sentimental value for me. And that's why it's kind of like crazy. Like they hold some type of sentimental value for me and a very strong desire. So, looking at this year, right? I'm looking at this year, and this is one thing I did before the year started. I made a list. So I made a list of non-negotiables, 10 non-negotiables. It has already grown to 11, um, but you know, hey, whatever, grace, right? I just can't have it get too much bigger than that. Like, and when I what I said was this 10 pair of non-negotiable kicks, right? Whatever I got to do to get them, aside from paying resale, I am not on the resale train anymore. Like, I would rather, I mean, I don't want to take an L, but I would rather take an L before I pay resale for a shoe, unless the resale is like under retail or hovering around retail, or it's just one of those. Nah, I can't. I can't say that. Nah, yeah, I can't say that. So, anyways, it's a it's a year where so many pairs meant something to me growing up. Like, whether that be when I was in high school, some of my first pairs I bought with my own money. Whether that be when I was in middle school, or just the stories behind the shoe. Like, there are quite a few shoes that I have that if I can have them, I'll be happy. Like, the list was made to say, look, if you don't get any other shoe this year, will this shoe, if you have these all of these shoes, will you be satisfied, fulfilled? Yeah, that's what this list is. Like, it doesn't mean I'm not gonna try to go for more shoes than I have on this non-negotiable list, but this non-negotiable list is like, I skip a pair to get this pair, right? So it's not a ranking. Is I'm just going off the top of my head until I can't remember anymore and didn't have to look at my phone. But I'm gonna go off the top of my head of what I put as my non-negotiables going into this year. And so the first one is easy: the Black Cat Jordan 3. The Black Cat Jordan 3, man. I've always liked the Black Cat Jordan 3 better than the Black Cat 4. For some reason, I think I preferred the very first Black Cat 4. The retro I wasn't too crazy about. I don't know if it was just the suede or what it was, but I wasn't too crazy about the second, the retro, right? So for years we've been hearing, oh, next year the Black Cat 3 dropping. Oh, next year the Black Cat 3 dropping. Oh, it's gonna come out next year. Oh, it's gonna come out holiday season, da da da. So, and it never dropped. It never dropped. The Black Cat Jordan 3 is one of those shoes that just mean a lot to me because it was the very first pair of shoes I ever bought with my hard earned money. Like, the very first pair of shoes. And that's crazy, right? But it was the very first pair of shoes. Everything else, thank God, you know what I'm saying? My mom's and my aunt or my grandmother, they bought them for me. But this was the first pair that I was like, nah, I do whatever I gotta do, save up all my checks to cop it. So the Black Cat 3, that was on the list. Now it's scratched off the list, but I'ma keep it on the list so I can keep myself, you know what I'm saying, disciplined and not just get too out of control. Cause you can't just, okay, I got this one, so I'm gonna take it off and whatever. Like, nah. So the Black Cat 3 is on there. If it was ranked, the number one shoe would definitely be the Black Tongue Fight Red 5. Man, listen to me, y'all. The Black Tongue Fight Red 5, man. God, dog. The Black Tongue Fight Red 5 is, man, I know we have different definitions of what a grill is, right? For me, the Black Tongue Fight Red 5, even though I've owned it before, twice actually, is a grill. It's still a grill. Like, it's one of those shoes, like, if they released it, if they continue to release it, and I didn't have a fresh pair in my collection, I will buy that shoe over and over and over again. Like, the Black Tongue Fight Red 5 is just one of those ones for me. Just, I just love it. Um it's really is I really can't even put it into words how much I love that shoe. My aunt, man, my aunt, Uh, and she's the one that created this monster. So if you ever wonder, you know what I'm saying, how Frankenstein of shoes came to be, my aunt, she created this monster. I never forget. I know this would be laughed at today, but she bought me a pair. You know, we were just trying to be different. She just wanted me to be different when I was in school. And I remember when I was in the sixth grade, she didn't buy me a pair of Air Force Ones. It was a pair of, she was into Tommy Hilfiger heavy. Like, my aunt was into Tommy Hilfiger heavy until, you know, what happened. Or, you know, the myth of what happened, what was said. And, you know, further cemented by Pimp C and what he said in his raps. But we were she had me on Tommy Hilfiger heavy, right? And so we was rocking Tommy Hilfiger, and she bought me a pair of these Tommy Hilfigers. I think they came from Foley's before Foley's was bought out, and all of them got turned into Macy's. I think it was Foley's, but she bought me a pair of Tommy Hilfiger that looked like Air Force Ones, and so I'm rocking those, and just I ain't gonna lie, I was just the shit in school. Like ain't nobody have 'em, and they was clean. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward, it was Christmas. I think it was '06. I want to say it was '06, and you know it's Christmas time, and I'm in the shoes, and so I'm just like, look, I just want some shoes. Uh, I don't want. It was always for me. It was jewelry and it was shoes. It was kicks and it was jewelry, ring, necklace, bracelet. I didn't have earrings at that time, so mostly it was like rings, necklaces, bracelets, and shoes. That's all I really watches. I'm tripping. I love watches. I started collecting watches, even though that collection tapered off pretty significantly. I started collecting watches way before I started collecting shoes. But so yeah, my aunt got me into shoes. It was that Christmas. She bought me the Black Tongue Fire Red Fives. She brought me the headband that went with it, the shorts, the T-shirt. I think the not baller bands, but I think it was the wristbands, um, headband. She bought me the socks. She bought me everything that went with that shoe, man. And just opening that box, it was such a man. It was just such a special thing. Like opening that box for Christmas Day, everything inside, it was just an experience. Now I am gonna tell a story later on with that, but that's gonna be a part of the For the Love of series, so I ain't gonna get too deep into that today. But man, dog, the Black Tongue Fire Red Five, I can talk about that the rest of this episode. I won't, and they bring the 23 back. Now, what I've read is it's supposed to be a mixture of the retro that came out in '06 and the OG 23 that was on the side. But either way, I ain't tripping. As long as the 23 on there and they don't just look too crazy, that's on my non-negotiable list. So that's two. We got eight more. Off the top of my head, before I have to look at my phone, I'ma go the Union ones, the Shadows, Chicago's, dog. So when the first unions came out, like proximity, region, it wasn't like Jordan ones, right? So I Jordan one craze came for me out of nowhere. I used to love Jordan ones. At one point, that was the most number, like the highest number of shoes I had in my collection was Jordan ones. The Jordan one was just it was just one of them shoes. Like it was just one of those shoes, easy to wear, cheap compared to the other models, the other silhouettes. And so the Jordan 1 was just a staple for me. I'm talking about highs, mids, lows. I had them all. And so I remember when I sold a lot of my shoes, I got rid of most of my Jordan 1. So much so, the only pair I have left of when I first started collecting shoes is the white and red Do the Right Things, the tumble leathers. That's a play on some of the original '85 high Jordan ones. That's the only pair of Jordan ones I have from that era, right? And so I remember seeing the Union ones when they first dropped. I was just like, they ones, it's cool. And everybody knows the story of how they were at the market, and a lot of people thought they were fake, which I was like, okay, whatever. Then come to find out they were real, and I think at that time I was just so discouraged when it came to sneakers. Like, if I couldn't get a pair of shoe at a store, or somebody looked out for me, or whatever, I really didn't try for it. I was so defeated. Like, it was so it was some dark days for me when that release came out. I didn't even want to try. I didn't even want to try for the shoes. I was just like, if it, like, I'm not gonna hit on them, so whatever. I'm gonna just leave them alone. And so I didn't even go for the shoes. And then I saw so many people hit on them. I was like, damn, okay, cool. And I never forget the first time I saw the blue pair in person. Um, I was doing a photo shoot with a friend of mine. I was like, yo, them hoes is clean. And I was like, damn, I should have bought them. And by that point, the resale had skyrocketed because resale wasn't even that crazy on them when they first dropped. Well, not to me, but by that point, the resale had the total had shot up. So I was like, all right, whatever, cool. Fast forward, the unions dropped. I want to say that was last year, man, because years of nah, they didn't drop. Was it last year or the year before last? It might have been the year before last at this point, 23. Whenever the unions, the summer of '93's dropped with the woven, I was like, yo, I just got to get my hands on a pair of unions before, you know, I hadn't had any at that point. So I was like, I just got to get a pair of unions at whatever cost. And so I ended up getting that pair. So a little technical difficulties there. If you don't know by now, I am going to start trying to put out more video representations of the podcast, man. I don't know why I keep coming back to YouTube, why I keep coming back to video, me being on camera. I do not like being on camera. The only reason I have gotten this far without tripping or bugging out is because of what I'm recording on now. And that's why I had the technical difficulties. We'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, check me out on YouTube. And if you're watching right now on YouTube, I appreciate you. Hit that like button, subscribe button. You know what all the YouTubers say. But yeah, man. So I was in a dark time at that time trying to collect these shoes, and I didn't go for them. And so, when it was rumored, the rumors had been circulating for a little bit about them coming back out with it looking like the original pair. I had a little intel, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm game, right? And so when I saw the mock-ups, I was like, dog, my favorite, and it might have changed. It might have changed, but I believe that my favorite Jordan 1 is the Shadow. And it might have changed. I don't know. But I know for a long time it was the Royal. I'm lying. Lying. My favorite Jordan 1 of all time is coming out this year too. So, anyways, I will be going for that. That's on my list. That's on my list of non-negotiables. The second rumored union pairs on there too. We don't have too many details about that, so I'ma just it's on that list too. And that's crazy because there's not a lot of details on even if that shoe is real or not, at least to the public. So, that's on the list too. So we're at four pair now. Fifth pair, black toe Jordan 1s. The black toe Jordan 1, man, it's the shoe that how people feel about the Chicago's, that's how I feel about the black toe. It breaks up that red, even though that Union is a Chicago shadow, and I did get the Real Imagine ones. And the funny thing is, the Real Imagine one Chicago's is what made me really care for the Chicago's. I had two iterations of the Chicago's before that release, and I just wasn't crazy about them. Like, the black toe just always took the cake for me. But anyways, The black toe Jordan 1, the reimagined joints that's coming out this year. They're supposed to look like the PE pair that Mike took a pic that one of those famous pictures in on the list. Non-negotiable. Like that's a non-negotiable. I gotta grab that pair. By any means necessary. Um, Six shoe that I can remember off the dome. And no, I did not look at my list when I had to fix these technical difficulties. The six shoe that's coming off the dome is the Galaxy foams. Man, when that shoe came out, right, originally, and I think it was 2012, I had all the chance in the world, or it might have been 12, 13, one of them. I had all the chance in the world to grab those shoes for retail. And I don't know. It was something about that shoe at that time. One, I hadn't seen him in person. I was in school, and the person at the time that used to look out so much. Shout out Mr. Lee. Used to work at North Line Foot Locker, man. If you listening or somebody out there hear this, get this to Mr. Lee, man. Tell him I said appreciate him for everything that he did throughout my college years, because he kept me laced with pretty much every shoe. And it was crazy. Kids used to be so funny in school. Used to say I was a dealer because I had pretty much every shoe that I wanted during that time. And so I remember when that shoe dropped with the pack with the big bangs and the Kobe's, and the KDs, I was just like, nah, I'm good. I just being a huge LeBron fan, I was just like, I just take the LeBrons. And I came to regret it when I saw that pair in person. I was like, oh shit, I missed it. I missed the moment. I should have grabbed this shoe. And I wasn't crazy about foams at that time either. So that's on my list for this year. The Galaxy foams. It the madness aside, the Galaxy foams is just on my list because it's a pair that I've been wanting for so long. It's not up there with the Red Octobers, but it's up there. And I think I'll be able to grab them. Seventh pair in the non-negotiable 85 hybrids, man. Let's just keep it. Let's just keep it real. The 85 hybrids. Woo! The numbers, right? So I've been hearing speculations about the numbers for quite some time now, and seeing them finally start to hit the public, the response is what they should be. Supply and demand, right? I learned that when I was in animal science, agribusiness, agriculture at Prairie View. Supply and demand. And let's just be honest, for a little bit now, there hasn't been quite the biggest demand for your Jordan brand, for your Nike. Well, Jordan brand demand has been there, but for Nike, it has not been there for quite some time. And so, and when I say quite some time, I'm not talking about a decade or nothing, but I'm just saying like the demand has not been there aside from a few pairs of shoes, right? And so coming out with this Jordan, this Nike Air Jordan 85 hybrid, a colorway that's just an all timer, right? It's an all timer. The history behind it, being one of the first pairs to drop, one of the first samples, along with the black toe, like it's just it's so much richness there in the history of this shoe. And so that shoe, right, being the numbers that it is, just made it a fever pitch for the desire of it. Um, I know it's gonna be a daunting task to get or whatever. Hopefully, my connections, my network will allow me access to them at retail price. That's crazy, right? But yeah, that's a shoe that I truly it's on my non-negotiable list. And basically for me, when it comes to 85 high, the first pair I bought was the metallic burgundy. I bought those at retail. I could have waited. I could have got them, you know, half off. But I just wanted them, and I can't take chances in my size when it comes to shoes. I've done that too many times. You know, you read it wrong, you out of there. You read it right, good. But the chances of reading it right on a size 13 are slim to none. So I don't chance it. I just grab them. Um, and so that was the first pair. The white and black pair, I liked them, but I let them sit. And the well, not sit, but I just didn't go for them. In the Georgetowns, I didn't really didn't care for the Georgetowns. So the metallic burgundies was the first pair that I grabbed. My goal is to get the shadows, the black toes, the Chicago's, the breads, the royals, and if they ever do that white and purple pair, we didn't seen the white and purple come so many times. Being from Houston, purple is just one of them ones for me, man. Like if it's a purple shoe, I'ma look at it. If it's a shoe with animal print, like I've told y'all before, I'ma look at it. So is if they do that when in other metallic red, just as like the do the right things ones, I'm grabbing them. Um, and of course the UNCs. Can't forget the UNCs. So but I mean the way the numbers are for these breads, the 23 retailers, and we still don't know if that list is accurate all the way, and it's still two to be determined and all that. Like by the time I'm recording this, who knows? But speaking of that list, right, the 85 high bread list, I want to give a huge congratulations to Greenmore store out there in Oklahoma. I don't think y'all will understand how happy I was to see Fred and Danielle store that baby get on that list for the 85 high breads. Like Greenmore, out there in Oklahoma City, um, fairly new. I think opened up around the time of the pandemic, and I was fortunate to get Danielle and Fred on to talk navigating the pandemic, navigating getting the store open during that time. And man, I'm just so happy for them. I'm just so happy for them. Y'all can go back, check out that episode, man. Y'all will love it for sure. But yeah, like I am really happy. Congratulations to y'all for real for being able to get that shoe. I'm just happy for y'all. And Lee Barron, y'all know y'all gonna be up next, man. It's just keep putting the work in. Y'all gonna be up next. So the 85 hybrid Jordan 1 for sure on that list. Next up, the I'm gonna go because I can remember the next shoe. This one keep fading in and out, and I think it might be because it's not that. I don't know. It might not be that important to me, but I'm gonna put it on here because when it came out the first time, I was not able to get it. So the shattered backboard one, right? We know the story at nauseum. We know, everything that has gone that went into that lunch. The 1 on the very first one, it's just classic. It's just classic, and for me, that was the best one out of all three that have come out. So that's on the list. I don't really have much to say, and they talking about the quality being updated. I can't wait. Oh, okay. Before I forget, they talking about the quality being updated, being even better than the first pair. Great. Back to the 85 high breads. There is a complex article that Brendan wrote that spoke with the team that brought the 85 high bread back. Yo, that's one of the best articles I've read in a long time when it comes to specs and the details of a shoe and how it came to be. So if you have not read that yet, please check that out. Please check that out. That was well written. I love that article. I really did love that article. No way for me to fact check. I mean, I don't think it needs to be fact checked, but there's no way for me to fact check because I don't have access to the information of when the 85 highs were created. But it was a I thoroughly enjoyed that article. I really did. And so yeah, when you had a time, read that. But yeah, Shadowback Boys. Up next on that list, I have the What the Kobe's. So what the Kobe's, the undefeated Kobe's, the I think they were the Tools. No, I could be. I don't believe they're the Tools. I am not the best when it comes to the Kobe numbers, but whatever the undefeated was that came out in like that Lakers colorway, it was that camo. Um, that's one that always got away from me. That has slipped away from me. The Marble Tools, the Prelude pack, that pair is a pair. I was able to get the Grinches, thankfully. And the sixes and like are my favorite Kobe of all time. That's my favorite Kobe. The eights would probably be next, right? So with the eights coming back, the what the Kobe is up down that list. Like one of my favorite All Star shoes. Um, was it? No, I don't think it was an All Star shoe. I could be wrong on that, but it's one of my favorite Kobe's of all time. That's not a six. And so to now, it's still in that rumor stage, but for that to be coming back out, I cannot wait to try and get my hands on it. And probably I may have a better chance at it this time. I hope so. But yeah, the Kobe, the what the Kobe's, they're on that list as well. And now I have to look at my phone to see what else I had on the list. Let's see. All right, so I think the all right. So I think the list. I had two late, not late editions. One of them I just could not remember for the life of me, and that I have a late edition that I saw this week that I was hoping for. So I'm gonna start with the one that is it may go down as one of the best shoes to drop this year, and that is the Nigel Sylvester Ford, brick by brick. Yo, what Nigel is doing with the campaign for this shoe is crazy. Like the whole runway, the fashion show, the for the capsule. Let's get into the capsule. Before we dive into the shoes, let's get into the collection. The I it's nothing like the vintage Nike, right? It is nothing like vintage Nike apparel, the track suits, the jumpsuits, the like. It's nothing like it. Like Nike had such a flair and edge to them in the '90s that it's hard to bottle that up and bring that over. Like you can run it back, and it might look the same, but it might not feel the same. But and I'm not opposed to it coming back and out of looks, but man, Nike has such an amazing apparel department at that time. The design, the flair, just the fit, just the look. It just was like, yo, it was the cream of the crop. Like if you had Nike at that time, you was just you were it. You know what I'm saying? It's like starter jacket or champion at that time. Like it was just that was the fly shit right there. So when I look at the jacket, one of the jackets for it, I'm like, dog, I gotta get the jacket too. I gotta get the jacket too. I gotta get the jacket. And then the shoes themselves, the color blocking of it, the color of it, period, is just beautiful hues, beautiful tones. And it looks like it's that quality new buck on there. And I'm just like, yo, let me have it. Like Nigel really got me last year. I know he had the Jordan ones and he had some other shoes before the Jordan ones as well. But he really got me last year with the Jordan 4 RM. And I know some of the people that worked on that shoe, that project, and I'm extremely happy for them that it was a success out of the gate. And I just that the story that was told resonated with me so much. Being so like it just resonated with me because in my grandmother's driveway, my grandparents' driveway, are some of my favorite memories. Some of my worst memories. I mean, that is where I broke my leg, technically speaking. But some of my favorite memories, childhood, adolescent, whatever, happened in that driveway. So that storyline for me was just it was phenomenal. It resonated with me so much. And then fast forward these fours, and then because we know the fours are retooled, right? Because for a long time, I did not rock with fours. Fours were just so uncomfortable. I just didn't rock with fours like that. But this shoe is it looks so nice. I just can't wait to get my hands on them. I just really cannot. I cannot. And so the last addition to the non-negotiable list, right? The KD4 Texas Longhorns. Yo, I've been hoping for a retro for those shoes for so long. And the number one reason is not because I love the shoe. I love the shoe, being from Houston, being a huge Texas fan. You know what I'm saying? Vince Young, you know what I'm talking about? TJ Ford, you had KD, you had PJ. It was so many greats came out of like in school greats that came out of that program, you know. We got Arch Manning coming up now, you know what I'm talking about? Um, but the number one reason that I wanted this shoe to come back is because when they originally dropped, the biggest size they had at the store that I was getting my shoes from was a size 12. And I wear 13, probably like a 12. If you really did the measurements, probably like a 12 and 12.75, whatever. And so this is like a true size 12. And so I love them. I wear them. You know, I want them to games, you know, but nah, this shoe hurt. So when they come back out, I need to get like two 13s. And the shoe is very durable. It's one like I didn't have this shoe since they came out over 10 years. I think over 13 years ago. And they've held up so well. And so the durability of them, the quality of them, great. I just need a size 13. And so if I'm not mistaken, I think that is my list. Now, I've heard rumors of other shoes dropping. Um, we still ain't even talked about what the Whitaker group is dropping. We still haven't really talked about what Joe Fresh Goods is dropping. We haven't even gotten into what J Tips is dropping. Now, I did recently see the leak of the shoes. You know, on brand, colorful, quality gonna be good. Um, haven't gotten the story too much yet. So at this point of recording, but you know, always gonna look at what J Tips doing, what Joe doing, what the Whitaker group, what James is doing, and there's a few other people out there. But I mean, you got Archive supposed to be dropping that a 17. So it's a lot of stuff, right? It's a lot of stuff, and we still don't know the details on everything. But off of what we do know, that is my non-negotiable list. It doesn't mean that there are no other shoes that I'm highly interested in or I really want. But those are the ones like if you told me I couldn't get other pairs, yeah, I might be hurt. But if I had those, I'd be good to go, man. But yeah, man, again, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all tuning in today. And until next time, peace.